The film opens in a small rural town in Spain during a sweltering summer. We meet Sarah, an overweight teenage girl who lives with her parents and works at her family's butcher shop. Sarah is visibly isolated and unhappy. She's quiet, withdrawn, and clearly uncomfortable in her own skin. The film establishes early on that she's the target of relentless bullying, primarily from a group of 3 girls from her school, Maca, Claudia, and Rosai. One scorching afternoon, Sarah decides to go to the local swimming pool to cool off. The pool is relatively empty during the midday heat. Sarah changes into her swimsuit, self-conscious about her body, knowing she'll likely face ridicule. Sure enough, the 3 bullies show up at the pool. When they see Sarah, they immediately begin taunting her. They call her Piggy, a cruel nickname referencing her weight. The harassment escalates from verbal abuse to physical torment. They mock her appearance, make oinking sounds, and film her on their phones to humiliate her further. The bullying becomes more aggressive. The girls steal Sarah's clothes and belongings from the changing area, leaving her stranded at the pool in just her swimsuit with no way to get home. They throw her things around, laughing cruelly as Sarah desperately tries to retrieve them. The pool attendant and other people present choose not to intervene. As Sarah begins the walk home along a deserted rural road, still in her swimsuit, a car filled with other bullies comes speeding up behind her. They blow their horn aggressively, making Sarah jump and forcing her to run faster to get out of their way. They lean out the windows calling her names, shouting Piggy, and laughing cruelly as they pass. They eventually speed off, leaving Sarah even more tormented and humiliated, alone on that scorching road. Later, as Sarah continues walking, she passes an empty white van parked on the side of the road. She walks past it without much thought, unaware that someone is hurt and hidden on the roadside nearby. Suddenly, a man gets in the white van. Sarah hears the engine start and the van drives slowly past her. Through the back windows, Sarah glimpses something that makes her blood run cold. It's actually Claudia, one of her main tormentors, bound and clearly kidnapped in the back of the van. The van stops ahead of her. The driver gets out and looks directly at Sarah. She freezes, then the man does something unexpected. He drops a towel on the road for Sarah to cover herself with. Their eyes meet for a moment, an unspoken understanding passing between them. Then he drives off with Claudia inside. Sarah rushes home as fast as she can, her mind reeling from what she's experienced, both the bullying at the pool and witnessing Claudia's kidnapping. She gets inside and immediately takes a long shower, trying to wash away the day, terrified and confused about what she should do. Later, Sarah gets on social media to check for any news about the kidnapping. But what she finds is even more devastating. The bullies posted the pictures they took of her at the pool in her vulnerable state. The humiliating photos are now trending online, being shared and mocked by everyone from school. Sarah makes a decision right then. She tells herself firmly that she won't mention what happened to the police. After what they did to her, after humiliating her publicly like this, she'll say nothing. Later that day, Sarah works at her family's butcher shop, but her mind is clearly elsewhere. She's distracted, haunted by what she witnessed. Suddenly, Claudia's attractive boyfriend Pedro arrives on the street outside the shop. He's looking around, clearly searching for Claudia at the spot where they usually meet up. He doesn't see her and looks confused and concerned. The lights in the butcher shop suddenly go out, and Sarah's father sends her to the nearby shop to buy a replacement battery light. Sarah reluctantly agrees and leaves. She buys the light at the local shop. But when she steps back outside, she notices locals gathering in the street, talking urgently about an accident that happened at the public pool. Sarah's mother arrives and spots Sarah. She grabs her daughter, insisting they go together to see what's happening at the pool, and Sarah has no choice but to follow. When they arrive at the pool, police are already there. Sarah and her mother watch as officers drag a lifeless body out of the water. Sarah's heart pounds. She assumes it has to be Claudia's body, but she doesn't tell anyone what she saw earlier. She stays silent, watching the scene unfold. As Sarah and her mother leave the pool area, Sarah notices something chilling. The white van is nearby. The killer is following them, watching Sarah. She recognizes the van immediately but says nothing, her fear mounting. That evening, as the family prepares for dinner, Sarah's mother serves Sarah a salad instead of the regular meal. She's clearly heard about Sarah being bullied for her weight and thinks restricting her food will help, but the gesture is humiliating rather than supportive. Suddenly, there's an urgent knock at the door. It's Claudia's mother, frantic and desperate. She asks Sarah directly if she saw her daughter at the pool earlier. But Sarah's mother immediately stands up and intervenes. She refuses to let Sarah answer. She tells Claudia's mother angrily that Sarah has been bullied relentlessly by Claudia and her friends for months. Claudia's mother never intervened, never stopped her daughter from tormenting Sarah. But now that she needs help, now that her daughter is missing, suddenly they should help her. Sarah's mother tells Claudia's mother that she's a hypocrite and kicks her out of the house. Later that night, Sarah steals her father's phone. She remembers the bully stole her phone at the pool, and she intends to use Find My Phone to track its location and hopefully retrieve it. The app shows her phone's location. It's at the same place where she saw Claudia being taken. Sarah's heart races, but she needs her phone back. She walks through the darkness to that remote spot. Sarah walks cautiously through the bushes and finds the white van parked hidden in the dark undergrowth. She pulls out her father's phone and calls her own number. In the silence of the night, she hears her phone ringing somewhere in the bushes nearby. Suddenly, she senses movement. The killer walks up silently behind her. Before Sarah can scream, he covers her mouth and pulls her into an abandoned shelter nearby. Elsewhere, the parents of the kidnapped girls have also used Find My Phone to track their daughter's devices. Multiple cars arrive at the location, parents calling out desperately for Maka, Rosai, and Claudia. Sarah remains hidden in the shelter with the killer, barely breathing. She can hear the parents shouting the girls' names, searching frantically through the bushes. Suddenly, one of the families finds something horrific. They discover one of the girls dead, her body hidden in the undergrowth. Claudia's mother sees the corpse and begins screaming and sobbing in panic and grief. Meanwhile, Sarah uses the chaos and distraction to run off quietly through the darkness, making sure she isn't seen by anyone. That evening, as Sarah gets ready for bed, she lies in the darkness thinking about the killer. Strangely, disturbingly, she realizes she might find him attractive. There's something about the way he looked at her, the way he seemed to see her differently than everyone else does. Suddenly, she hears someone calling her name from outside. It's Pedro, Claudia's boyfriend. Sarah goes outside and Pedro immediately confronts her. He knows she was at the pool earlier, people saw her there. He demands to know what happened to his girlfriend. Sarah tells him she saw nothing. But Pedro feels there's more to the story. He can sense she's hiding something. Pedro pulls out a joint and offers it to Sarah, hoping she'll loosen up and tell him the truth. Sarah hesitates but accepts, taking a drag. As it takes effect, her emotions overwhelm her. She breaks down thinking about the deaths, about what she witnessed, about her complicity in staying silent. But even crying, she doesn't reveal the full truth. Elsewhere in the house, Sarah's mother is doing laundry. She picks up the towel that Sarah came home with and examines it. She sees embroidered initials of Claudia's. Soon after, Sarah's mother finds Claudia's mother outside their house again, trying to question Sarah. She gets furious and they begin physically fighting in the street, screaming at each other, pulling hair, until neighbors separate them. The police are called and both families end up at the local police station. Officers warn Claudia's mother sternly to stop interfering with their investigation. She needs to let them do their job. Meanwhile, Sarah is brought into an interrogation room. Police officers question her carefully about the day she last saw the bullies and what happened at the pool. Sarah tells them the truth about the bullying, how she was swimming when the girls arrived, how they tormented her, called her names, nearly drowned her, and took her clothes, leaving her half naked at the pool with no way to get home. That was it, she insists. Sarah's mother gets annoyed with the questioning and tells the officers firmly that they're leaving. She grabs Sarah and they walk out. The officers are left helpless, clearly sensing that Sarah is keeping further details from them but unable to force her to talk. Elsewhere, Sarah's father walks into Sarah's bedroom to check on something. He's shocked to find the killer standing there, having broken in. Before Sarah's father can react or shout, the killer strikes him hard, knocking him unconscious. Soon after, Sarah and her mother arrive home. An argument immediately breaks out between them in the hallway. Sarah's mother confronts her about the towel with Claudia's initials. Sarah gets completely overwhelmed. She's exhausted from being questioned constantly about other people when no one ever asks about her feelings, about what she's been going through, about the relentless bullying she's endured. Sarah yells at her mother to leave her alone. Her mother, furious and frightened, raises her hand as if to hit Sarah. But the killer suddenly appears from Sarah's room. He grabs Sarah's mother's raised hand mid-swing and knocks her out with a swift blow. The killer then grabs Sarah by the arm and pulls her toward the door. They leave the house together. Outside, other bullies from school happen to see Sarah being dragged away by this strange man. Instead of helping, they start making fun of Sarah again, laughing and shouting cruel comments. The killer and Sarah get into his car. He reverses aggressively, forcing the bullies to scatter and jump out of the way. Then he drives away fast into the night. Sitting in the passenger seat, Sarah looks at the killer's profile. A disturbing realization settles over her: this man might have a crush on her. He's been watching her, protecting her in his twisted way, eliminating the people who hurt her. Suddenly, a cow wanders onto the dark rural road ahead. The killer doesn't see it in time. They slam into the animal at high speed, causing a violent accident. Later, Sarah slowly regains consciousness. The killer has brought her unconscious body to a hidden shelter, some kind of abandoned building or bunker in a remote location. He's tended to her wounds, bandaging her cuts and injuries from the accident. Sarah awakens disoriented, finding herself in a room she doesn't recognize. Her head throbs with pain. She stands shakily and begins exploring, trying to understand where she is. Suddenly, she finds both Claudia and Maka, tied up in another room. They're alive but bound and gagged, their eyes wide with terror when they see Sarah. Sarah moves toward them, starting to untie Claudia's restraints. But then she hears footsteps. Sarah quickly hides, pressing herself against the wall behind some debris. The killer walks into the room and looks around, sensing someone was just there. He searches methodically. Sarah tries to sneak toward the exit, but when she reaches the doors, they're locked. She hides again in a different spot, her heart pounding as the killer continues looking for her. Sarah ends up in another room trying to find an escape route. When she sees what's inside, she screams. The room contains other victims the killer has murdered over time. The killer hears her scream and walks in immediately. Sarah is cornered, terrified. He approaches her slowly and grabs her, but not violently. He tries to calm her down, speaking quietly, telling her that he won't harm her. Then the killer does something shocking. He pulls out a knife and offers it to Sarah. He tells her to kill the bullies, they've tormented her for so long, so they deserve it. But Sarah doesn't take the bait. Instead, she grabs the knife and quickly stabs the killer before he can react. The killer staggers backward, shocked and in pain. Before he can recover, Sarah lunges at him again and stabs him a second time. The killer screams in agony, quickly losing blood. Sarah gets up, her eyes wild. Something has broken inside her. She walks to where Maka is tied up. Without hesitation, Sarah kills Maka violently, unleashing all her rage and pain on the girl who tormented her. Then Sarah goes to Claudia and unties her. Claudia is sobbing, traumatized, barely able to process what's happening. Sarah walks out of the shelter, the killer's blood all over her body. Soon, she sees Pedro riding toward her on his bike, still searching desperately for Claudia. Pedro sees Sarah standing in the middle of the road looking bloody and disheveled. He stops, horrified by her appearance. He gives Sarah a lift and they ride back to town. During the journey, Sarah has transformed completely. The bullied girl who stayed silent about the kidnapping has become something darker, someone capable of violence, someone who's tasted revenge and found it satisfying. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time. See you soon.